mid-size segment in Canada is an important one. It ranks as the 4th largest. Now in 2013, Dodge and Chrysler combined to finish second in the segment behind only the Ford Fusion. The problem was the cars, well, they weren't as hot as the sales. That, however, is all about to change. On this edition of Test Drive, the all-new Chrysler 200C. While the outgoing Chrysler 200 was a very stodgy stylistic blob, the new car is a knockout, and it's the product of a young designer from Guelph, Ontario. The lines are crisp, the lighting is jewel-like, and the roofline is windswept. The fast nature of the roof over the rear doors, however, does hinder entry to the back seat somewhat, but in this case, I would take form over function any day. You can have this car with as much or as little as you possibly want. The base car comes nicely equipped. This happens to be the top of the line 200C. It comes with everything from self-parking. You can add heated and cooled seats, a heated steering wheel. The list goes on and on. What does not change across the board is the quality of the materials. They're excellent. The dash is really, really nice. And Uconnect. Now there's two different screens. This one happens to be the larger of the two. What does not change is the fact that it remains the easiest infotainment system to use that there is on the market today. The other big change, they've ditched the usual center console layout. Gone is the shifter. That's it right there, just a rotary dial. They've also added an e-brake. The net effect, there's a lot of storage space. You've got cup holders. Beneath that, another large bin, and then underneath you have another storage cubby, ideal if you happen to have a handbag. The one thing I don't understand, this is the plastic tray that goes underneath. If you look carefully, it's got the skyline of Detroit. Why? It's down here where nobody can see it. Lift the hood and there sits the most advanced powertrain available in the segment. True, the 2.4-litre four-cylinder is still a little anemic with its 184 horsepower. However, option up to the 3.6-litre Pentastar V6 and the 200C becomes a legitimate speedster. The engine packs a hefty 295 horsepower punch, and more importantly, it twists out 262 pound-feet of torque at 4,250 RPM. Marry this with a 9-speed manumatic. Yes, as in 9 gears, and you have a very fast ride. The back end of this 200 has been very well thought through. To begin with, there is a release button on the deck lid, thank you. When you pop the trunk open, 16 cubic feet of nicely squared off space, split folding rear seats. I don't care for these hinges, but there was one thing that really did impress me. The bumper has been kept to an absolute minimum. That means the liftover is nice and small. Load a bag, that simple. It really is very easy. The question that arose, what happens now if you back into a post? Do you take the deck lid out? The answer, no you don't. An option well worth considering with this 200 is the all-wheel drive system that comes with a V6 engine. Now normally it drives the front wheels, but it can send power rearwards. All of that's normal. What makes this thing a bit different, there's not one, but two disconnects. There's a disconnect here, and there's another one ahead of the back axle. Why have two? Quite simply, when you go to the front wheel drive mode, the drive shaft in the middle is not turning, which is saving you fuel. Clever idea. The ride and handling is equally well thought through. The front struts and multi-link rear suspension is comfortable when cruising, but it also hunkers down when the driver drops the hammer. There's minimal body roll and understeer-only surfaces as the limit nears. It was not what I was expecting from a family sedan. Likewise, the new electric power steering, unlike so many systems, has some real feel and decent feedback. It all comes together to provide a very sporty drive. While the outgoing 200 wasn't exactly an awful car, it was far from good. This latest model It does everything that the other car just couldn't. It's more economical. If you go with the V6 all-wheel drive, it is one sweet driving machine. Then when you get behind the wheel, the interior and the level of quality is streets ahead of anything else it competes against. Talking about competitors, it also has one other major advantage. This thing will cost you far fewer hard-earned loonies than any of the competition if you want one in your driveway.